Welcome to Reclaiming Your Voice, the conversation. I am your host, Vernisa Williams. You may call me V. We are back with another life-changing and encouraging episode. But first, hit the subscribe button. I really think that you will want to stay connected to this ministry because we believe that honoring your needs and discovering your values and core values will begin your journey towards healing, reclaiming your voice, and giving God the glory. As 2024 is right around the corner, if you are like most people, you are planning 2024 goals that you want to accomplish, whatever goals you want to review for the next year. This is normally the time where many people do this. Now, I don't do New Year resolutions, but I always have either a word or a phrase for the new year. I want to encourage you to consider your spiritual growth as a part of your intention for the new year. With all that being said, consider this. Check your fruit. 2023 was a very interesting year. It was full of challenges, full of tests, so much growth I encountered in my life. I am ready to discover what 2024 is going to uncover. What do I mean by check your fruit? Think about everything that went on in your life this year. The good, the bad, the ugly, and all in between. The fun, the excitement, all of the things, right? With all of that going on, did you take the time to check in with yourself? It is very important that we pause, check in with mind, body, and spirit, just to see how things are going. Whether there were moments where you experienced loss, grief, celebrations, it's always good to just pause and see how you are feeling. What are you thinking? So much can come in. We have to make sure that there are good things coming in our heart and entering in our minds. Because here's the thing, with all that you have experienced this year, what fruit did you give to those around you? What fruit did those around you pick off of your tree? When God pruned your tree, what fruit came from it? Was it good fruit? Was it ripe fruit? Did you grow creatively, relationally, academically? What did you experience this year that developed fruit that you will take on to 2024? And also, what rotten fruit, what bitter fruit will you leave behind? Because the work that God is doing in your life, it is for you. However, what will come out of that will also be for others, will also contribute to where He's going to take you next year. It will contribute to the things that you have to let go. It will contribute towards your healing. Now, I also mentioned a tree. So metaphorically speaking, you and I are a tree. And the fruit that will come from us will be an extension of the experience that we had in 2023. This is a good time that we visit John 15, 1 through 8. Now, I'm going to read from the NLT, which I have right here. So I will read it verbatim. I am the true grapevine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch of mine that doesn't produce fruit, and He prunes the branches that do bear fruit, so they will produce even more. You have already been pruned and purified by the message I have given you. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. For a branch cannot produce fruit if it is severed from the vine. And you cannot be fruitful unless you remain in me. Yes, I am the vine. You are the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will produce much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Anyone who does not remain in me is thrown away like a useless branch and withers. Such branches are gathered into a pile to be burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, you may ask for anything you want and it will be granted. When you produce much fruit, you are my true disciples. This brings great glory to my Father. So this caused me to believe what Jesus was saying is that the branches are cut off that are no longer necessary. The things that needs to die, the things that you need to let go of, the things that will cause rotten, spoiled fruit, the branch needs to go so that there is more energy to go toward the fruit that needs to remain. So I encourage you to examine the branches that are in your life. I ask you this next question. Which pain do you prefer? Do you prefer the pain of branches taking the energy from your good fruit? Or will you choose the pain that will come from the Father pruning so that good fruit will remain? That is the fruit that we want to offer others. That is the fruit. We want to be an example for other people to want to pick off our tree. Those are the seeds we want to offer other people so that they can experience Christ themselves. Only if it's good fruit. For the bad fruit, what will someone receive? Will they receive your jealousy? Will they receive envy? Sinful desires that will move you to another direction. We move you off the path that you need to go. We can make all the plans. We can write down all the goals. We can write the vision and make it plain. But guess what? If we are not connected to the vine, the true vine, all those things is for naught. That will cause us to continue stepping on broken branches. Let's refer back to the tree metaphor. What type of tree are you? The tree of bitterness, the tree of rejection, the tree of hope, the tree of healing. Did 2023 cause contaminations to affect your core? If so, before the new year comes, pray and ask God to bring out those impurities because that cannot go into 2024. And beyond, because that cannot continue to be in your life. This speaks to me because the challenges that I experienced, it is very possible that it would have set me back. Yes, protect your peace, but what about protecting your fruit? What about protecting the seed that will have a harvest at the end? What about protecting your harvest? What about protecting the possibility of good fruit in your future? I say protect your seed. I say hashtag protect your seed because that's where it all begins. The parable of the sower in Matthew 13 has been a challenge for me year after year to where lately I finally got it. The consistent distraction. Sometimes when I start things and don't finish. The fight, the wrestle. When I had moments where I would feel God so strongly, the next minute is like, where are you? It was a pattern that affected more than one area of my life. Matthew 13, starting at verse 3. Listen, a farmer went out to plant some seeds. As he scattered them across his field, some seeds fell on a footpath, and the birds came and ate them. Other seeds fell on shallow soil with underlying rock. The seeds sprouted quickly because the soil was shallow, but the plants soon wilted under the hot sun. And since they did not have deep roots, they died. Other seeds fell among thorns that grew up and choked out the tender plants. Still other seeds fell on fertile soil, and they produced a crop that was 30, 60, and even 100 times as much as had been planted. Anyone with ears to hear should listen and understand. Let me tell you something. How many times I read Matthew 13, I was not understanding until recently how this parable has been my life and how I have allowed seeds falling on the stony ground, the sun to come down and wither the seeds that were in me that looked like relationships I've never should have gotten into, decisions that I made that I should not have made, not backing down when things start feeling uncomfortable. The choking of many seeds that continuously went on in my life. I'm going to be vulnerable. I allow uncomfortable moments to hinder me. That always opened the door to distractions. Now I'm not getting things done. I allowed that seed to be choked. I did not consider the work that it took to maintain Matthew 13, to maintain this parable. I did not consider the work. I did not consider it at all. When this jumped out at me, I realized what I needed to do. What was the missing thing that was causing my seeds to go on the wayside, my seed going on shallow ground? What was the rocks in my life? It was inconsistency, disobedience. Those are the sensitive opportunities for the enemy to come in. I'm so grateful for his mercy. What are the stones in your life in 2023 that either has caused you or could be a hindrance of you producing good fruit, of you producing the fruit that God has for you to create a harvest? What in your life has been choking the seed you've been praying for? My recent prayer lately has been new ground, new fertilized ground, new soil. So when he drops seeds in my life, they will not get burnt. They will not hit the rocks. They will produce good fruit. As long as when things get uncomfortable, I abide with the true vine. His word is true because I have already seen good results. Jeremiah 17, 7-8. But blessed are those who trust in the Lord and have made the Lord their hope and confidence. They are like trees planted along a riverbank with roots that reach deep into the water. Such trees are not bothered by the heat or worried by long months of drought. Their leaves stay green and they never stop producing fruit. I might as well stop the podcast right now. When the sun came down and scorched the seed, such trees are not bothered by the heat. Which trees are not bothered by the heat? The ones that are planted along a riverbank with roots that reach deep in the water. When our roots are deep in the water, the living water, the word of God, when our roots are deep in him, we will keep our fruit. We will keep our seeds. We won't be worried when things get uncomfortable. A length of time. Lord, thank you for your fruit of the Spirit, of long suffering and patience. When we experience drought, nothing is happening. Everything just seems so quiet. I feel like I'm by myself. The Lord separated me. I'm not hearing from God. Where is God? In the moment of drought, we won't worry. In 2024, when you experience drought, when you experience the distractions, come back to the vine. Go back to the vine. When we stay connected to the vine, the word of God says, our leaves stay green and they never stop producing fruit. I pray that this episode is giving you a new perspective for your spiritual life. My prayer also asks the Father to root up anything that is unlike him. It can no longer go with you in another year. I'm a plant mom. When I notice that a particular plant is growing a lot, I consider how long I've had the plant and the pot that it's in. But it's going to be a time where I have to change the pot of a particular plant. The transition from one pot to another is very delicate. I use some of the dirt that's there. For the most part, I add new, fresh soil to it. I change the pot. I put the plant back into the same spot and I watch it. I watch it for about a week or two to see if anything changes. I will continue to water it once a week. I will keep my eyes on it. I will turn it around, hoping that it will engage with the new soil. What about you? During times of transition, do you take the time to sit where the Lord has repositioned you? Do you take the time to receive the goodness that God has for you? Or are we rushing the process? The season of pruning, of cutting, it is for us to produce good fruit. It is for the Father to cut away what does not belong. Will you abide in Him so that He will abide in you? So the fruit that the Father wants to produce in you will bring up an amazing harvest, not just for 2024, but for the rest of your life. As we say goodbye to 2023, let's take hold the hand of the Father to guide us to the next season that He has planned for us. As always, now and after, be well. See you next year, and peace out.